injuring at least 3 persons who are currently receiving treatment at the mall clinic. The police, NADMO, and other security agencies who arrived at the scene cordoned off the area and managed to restore some calm. NADMO says they are considering shutting down the entire facility pending investigations into the incident. The Works and Housing Minister Samuel Atachia is heading to the site, and we'll get to speak to him shortly. But first, here's the head of the Geological Disaster Department, Richard Amuyate, who spoke to Joy News about the incident earlier.
So we moved in, and then upon initial assessment, we realized that it's an Accra Mall which has collapsed, but some portions of the ceiling of the electronic hub had collapsed. So we found out 3 persons were injured, and they are undergoing treatment at the mall clinic. NADMO and the police, Ghana Police Service, are cordoning off the electronic hub whilst investigations to find out the cause of the collapse continues. It will depend on the engineering report from the investigations. If the report suggests that other parts of the structure would have been impacted upon, then we could order for a general assessment of the integrity of the entire roofing of the mall. NADMO will conduct an independent investigation, but then the owners of the premises will also have to conduct their own invitation to ascertain the problem. No, I would say that we are speaking to the engineers of the property because the investigations, full-scale investigations, has just begun. We want the assurance if it is safe for the entire mall to be open to the general public and only the affected parts cordoned off. So that is the discussion we are having with the managers of the mall currently to see whether it is safe to open up the mall while the investigations continue.
Meanwhile, the marketing manager at the mall, Denise Sasara, is confident the mall will be fully operational by close of day.
Our team are working very hard with all public organisations to ensure a quick and smooth clear-up of the mall. We can confirm that parts of the mall are fully operational, such as the food court and the shops on the entrance 2 side of the mall. So that includes ShopRite, Vlisco, Woodin and its sisters and brothers. At the moment, the cause of the collapse is unknown, but more details shall follow as soon as we get the full reports as to why the ceiling did collapse. The mall should be fully operational by this evening.
You heard there Denise Asare. She's the marketing manager at the Accra Mall. We'll get to speak to her also, but we're privileged to be joined on the phone by the Works and Housing Minister, Mr. Samuel Atachia, who we told you earlier was heading to the site. Thank you very much for your time here on NewsNite, Mr. Atachia. So you have been briefed.
My pleasure as always.
You've received full briefing on what actually happened. What did they tell you?
Well, from their perspective, it was a failure of the roof. The roof came in, and that is what happened. And what is very, very significant, there was not any serious fatal injury. But for 3 individuals who were passing at that, material time, would have been incident-free. So they are trying to look at the integrity of the roof, and then, that should solve the problem. It happened in just the square of the mall. The rest of the areas are functioning so well, and that is a joy. I also got to know that it was a Ghanaian contractor who put this structure together some 11 years ago. That's a good track record. If you have a structure which is been used for 11 good years, and is the first incident of a plastic roof caving in, it is not an experience. And I think they should just look at the integrity of the roofs, and that will be it.
So you keep on talking about the integrity of the roof. So we know that is just a part of the entire roof that caved in.
Yes, madam.
What about the safety of the rest of the roof? Because there are concerns that it's the entire roof and all that. Is it still safe to occupy that building?
The reassuring message I got from the one in charge of the whole area was that they are going to get all the engineers looking at it tonight and be sure that nothing untoward like that will happen. So they're going to check all the roof structures to see what happened. I saw the roof. So my initial understanding was that probably there was some weight on the roof. That's why it caved in. But there was no weight at all. You could see it from the bottom up, and there's nothing there. So there must be something that didn't click well, and they will have to look at it from an engineering perspective.
And are they looking at it as we speak? What's going to happen going forward?
Well, They want to look at it from a holistic point of view because, you see, it's a commercial center. If you give anybody the wrong impression that, oh, your safety is not secure, it will be useless because people will not want to go there and be endangered. So they owe it to their own professional integrity to assure the numerous customers that every problem has been fixed and there's no cause for alarm. I think they are on the path of doing that because I met a very well-class architect who was also part of the people briefing me that these matters have been sent to South Africa for experts to also come and look at it.
We're grateful for your time. That's the Works and Housing Minister, Samuel Atachia, there.
Thankfully, we've just been joined also by Dennis Asare, the marketing manager for the Accra Mall. Thank you very much for time here on NewsNite. Hello, Denise. Appears to have lost her on the line there. In fact, what we wanted to establish with her, MFI, this is a place where many people flock to every single day. What is happening with the entire roof of the building for the entire place? Can people be reassured? The minister talks about assurances they've received, specifically what they are doing. I don't know whether the place has been cordoned off now. Can people still access
we're told that NADMO actually cordoned off that portion, but we need to check from Denise when she joins us.
And it's a bit curious to find out how this is affecting, I guess, business in the mall. We'll speak to her when she
earlier
joins
also,
us.
President Akufo-Addo has been tweeted about it. He's been consoling victims of the incident. And in the tweet, it says, "I am disturbed to hear the incident at the Accra Mall. Let us all work together to improve our maintenance culture. Speedy recovery to the injured," he says.
Thankfully, Denise, is back on the line. Hello, Denise. Thank you for your time here on NewsNite. How is this affecting business?
This is not affecting business at all at the moment. I would like to actually reiterate that the roof has not collapsed. Okay, it is actually the ceiling, a part of the ceiling, and I must reiterate the ceiling that has collapsed. Okay, we are currently undergoing investigations to ascertain the cause of the collapse of the ceiling. So I just wanted to correct it from the minister's interview that it actually is the ceiling of the section of the ceiling in Accra Mall that has collapsed.
The affected part of the building that is affected.
Which has affected part of the building. So what we have done is to ensure that the public are safe. Is cordoned off that particular section, which has only affected about 7 tenants. Apart from that, the rest of the mall are fully operational. That includes Game and ShopRite, the cinema, Burger King, and the rest of the shops. And the full food court is fully operational.
What do you say to concerns, those who might have concerns that the other parts of the building may also be unsafe? What assurances can you give your customers?
Okay. So as I speak to you right now, like I said, we're doing a full audit. Regular maintenance checks are done on the building to ensure that its structural integrity. I can assure the public that Accra Mall is structurally sound, and we do have our engineers and architects on standby, and actually on the ground. I also wanted to just say, I think there was a comment where they said there was a Ghanaian contractor that constructed Accra Mall. In fact, it was an international contractor that built Accra Mall when it was constructed in 2008.
And I frequent Accra Mall a lot myself. You've talked about currently doing an audit of the ceiling and the other parts of the building. I'm just curious, while you do that, is it safe to open the place up?
Yes, the place is absolutely safe and sound to come into Accra.
I mean, I asked that because how do you say emphatically it's safe when you're doing an audit that the audit results aren't out yet?
Okay, so initially there will be some investigations that we'll do immediately by the operations managers and the operations managers on team, and the structural engineers. Fortunately, everybody was on site at the time that it happened. So what we've done an initial investigation to ensure that the mall is operational. When the incident occurred, a total evacuation of Accra Mall was conducted, and the entire mall was evacuated. Once we had the green light, the mall was opened for trade.
But I heard you say that the mall or the authorities at the Accra Mall engage in regular maintenance of the facility. Then what must have gone wrong today?
I'm sorry?
I'm asking what must have gone wrong today. You mentioned earlier that you engage in regular maintenance.
I cannot agree with you on that state until we have the full report as to why the cause of the collapse of the mall.
What does initial or preliminary investigations reveal?
I'm sorry?
I'm asking what preliminary investigations reveal.
Until we have the full, approved, signed off by our structural engineers as to the cause of this collapse of the ceiling, we will share with the public, please.
When last did that facility undergo maintenance?
I'm sorry, say that again, the line broke.
I'm asking the last time the Accra Mall underwent maintenance.
We do on a monthly, weekly, quarterly basis.
So the last time will be?
So if I just said weekly, it would be weekly, monthly. That's what it would be.
Denise, we are grateful for your time. That's
you.
Denise Asari, the marketing manager for the Accra Mall.
And some of you have already gotten in touch with us with your comments. And as I can imagine, many of you listen to us currently are either at the Accra Mall, maybe on your way there. In fact, if I'm not working, I'll probably be there watching a movie. Danny from Kofuda says, I'm surprised that the lady is not accepting the fact there is a problem. They are the mall. Our safety is needed. Our life needed if this happened at any Western country. That's Danny. In Koforidua. There another one still on the Accra Mall, and this is from Faud, who says media says, I think it's a wake-up call for management of the Accra Mall to carry out a comprehensive assessment of all their structures in the various regions as to prevent this unfortunate incident from recurring. I want to hear from you. I'm pretty sure some of you are currently still at the Accra Mall or on your way there. Share with us pictures of what you see and also tell us what is happening there currently. We'll share it with the rest of the world. Don't forget, our WhatsApp line is 0244 340 437. Let's go to Parliament now, shall we? Because there's some controversy there from as far as the minority side is concerned.
And the minority, they're disputing claims by President Akufo-Addo that his administration has saved the country $7 billion after a renegotiated power deal signed by the Mahama administration. Now, speaking at the Financial Times Africa Summit in London last week, you recall, the president said his government reviewed 24 power purchase agreements leading to that savings. Minority spokesperson on energy, Adams Mutawakilu, is challenging government to make public details of the cancelled agreements that have led to these savings.
We know that the sub-region, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Benin, Togo, will prefer to take power from Ghana. And you can only provide power to them where you have excess capacity. And that is why President Mahama invested heavily in the installed capacity and subsequent available capacity, with the ESLA to provide liquidity to the area. So if President Nana Akufo-Addo now comes and say that, oh, they have renegotiated 8, rescheduled 8, and canceled 11, the first question I want is, and what I want him to do, is make public the 11 canceled power purchasing agreement. Because you can't be talking of savings without looking at the potential benefits. Because if we exploit this market and can put this power into use by exporting it, I believe that we'll earn more. So the $7 billion assessment was narrowly assessed, as if we need the power for only Ghana.
The president also indicated that Ghanaians are enjoying the benefit of reduced tariffs announced by government recently, but Mr. Mutawakilu says the reduction is not being felt in the pockets of the ordinary Ghanaian.
I thought the president would have carried out that assessment to see what was the impact. He would have realized that it hasn't come to help these non-residential consumers, but they are even worse off. So the issue of figure reduction is one, and the effect of it is another. So the president shouldn't boast too much about, oh, I've reduced, and therefore clap hands for me. If you have reduced tariffs and I'm out of business, how do I clap hands for you? So I want to tell him that that reduction is not reflecting on the Ghanaian people. 2, I know that this reduction is affecting several state-owned enterprises, energy sector, and they are already crying. So if you do this and it's not achieving its results, but at the same time, these agencies such as ECG, Gridco, VRA, Ghana Gas accumulate debt. Who pays for it? The Ghanaian will pay for it. And this can also lead to a grounding in the operation of these state-owned enterprises.
You heard the ranking on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, Adams Mutawakilu. They're questioning the claims made by President Akufo-Addo when he went to London last week. But we've been joined on the phone by the Vice Chairman of Parliament's Mines and Energy Committee, Mr. George Duka. Thank you very much for your time here on NewsNite. So we'll start with this. What do you make of the claim by the minority that Ghanaians are not feeling the benefit of the reduction of in tariffs, contrary to the President's claim?
Let me say a good evening to your cherished listeners, Emifa, and good evening also to you. Emifa, it's very unfortunate to sometimes hear from, people like the NDC, Mutawakilu and his cohort. Sometimes I ask myself, if you don't have anything to say, just better keep quiet. Because what are we talking about? We're talking, criticizing the 30% reduction in commercial and that of 15% domestic. If a policy has been implemented, well implemented, by PURC announced, the first question you need to ask was the reduction not applied. First of all, yes, if you ask the companies around, they will tell you they are having a positive impact on the reduction. Myself, as a consumer of power and also a Ghanaian, a citizen, I feel the positive impact of the reduction because I used to pay higher. My rent was competing that of the tariff, but now it has been reduced. Maybe Muta and Mutawakilu was not paying rent previously or during their tenure, so he wouldn't have the impact. Now he started paying now.
Mr. Duka. He's skeptical because he says you haven't provided the details of these 24 power purchase agreements. As a deputy chair, have you seen the details of the 24 power purchase agreements that have been reviewed?
He is a member of parliament. If you need those documents, you know the venues and you know where to ask these questions.
Have you seen it yourself, sir?
Yes, I have. If you take, for instance, the Jacobson, PPA that they did, Rotting, AXA, Astro Power, Cat Power, and so on. We've pushed the what we call the COD, the commercial operational date. We've pushed it ahead in order to save costs if he doesn't know. And these are the things that I was expecting him to have asked as a ranking member on Mines and Energy. So you don't jump on air, just making noise because you want to be heard. My brother, the most important thing is that, yes, we had tariffs. Those tariffs have been tremendously reduced, and the impact is there. First of all, you just need to comment the system and also ask for more. Obviously, wouldn't say Ghana has turned to paradise because of the 15% domestic reduction.
We're grateful for your time. That's the Vice Chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee, Mr. George Duka.
Later on, we'll hear the story of a 4-year-old girl left with severe wounds after her teacher lashed her for allowing her brother to do her homework for her.
He says because she doesn't do her homework or the homework that she do wasn't her handwriting. She said wherever I like to take her to, I have to. That's why I came here.
And later...
Yeah, me on this beat, it go cause you some damages. Last year I went through some challenges, industry, whole lot of hate, Charlie. Can we just love one another with happiness? If being poor be like me, then Father, I beg you just bless me with poverty.
Ghana's entertainment industry set to light as hip life star Sarkodie releases a Dear song telling of Ghana's self-acclaimed dancehall king Shatta Wale. We're just joined in the studio by Ghana's self-acclaimed business king.
Interesting, in US was
Bizkin.
Biggie, Tupac, now Cardi B, and then what, Nicki Minaj. Interesting.
Well, which side are you on, Shatta or Sarko? Are you on Sark's side or you're on Shatta's side?
I'm an SM for life, Well, coming up in business, IMF warns borrowing is still restricted under the fund program despite expansion of Ghana's economy. And when will the challenges facing the banking sector be over? We'll hear from the Bank of Ghana and also President of the Ghana Association of Bankers, Alhassan Andani. The business news on NewsNite is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, and Mark Auto Parts, distributors of Chevy cars.
In this part of the world, we rise early, way before the sunrise. We plan, we pray, we prep, just so we are a step ahead. We keep the conversations going to stay connected to family, friends, and business. They say, Agrobeswa Ifrianopa. Start your day bright with MTN Kokroko. For only 1 Ghana cedi, you can enjoy 400 megabytes of data and 30 minutes of free MTN to MTN calls every day from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. everywhere you go. Dial *138# to buy MTN Kokroko bundle now.
But the best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply. Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back to Business on NewsNite. And the IMF is warning government that there are still restrictions on borrowing despite the significant expansion of the economy. The Ghana Statistical Service last month changed the way it calculates economic growth, resulting in a little over 24% expansion of the economy. There are fears that government could embark on some aggressive borrowing because of this development. By responding to a question posed by Joy Business to the IMF in Bali in Indonesia, the IMF Africa Boss Abibe Sisi said the limits on the program still applies.
In terms of the assessment of debt risk by the IMF and World Bank, is assessed to be at high risk of debt distress. For countries in this category, there are limits on the borrowing of non-concessional, high interest rate type borrowing. So that limit, while the program is in place, will stay there. That limit is based on a number of considerations and not just on the debt to GDP ratio. As important a consideration is the ratio of the capacity to service debt. So indicators like debt service to tax revenue, and that of course is not impacted by rebasing of GDP. So while the program is in place, the scope for non-concessional borrowing is going to remain limited and subject to only specific projects that are of high priority being carved out and accommodated.
The IMF also noted that borrowing is not the answer to the country's development needs, but Ghana should work on improve on revenue collections to help meet its infrastructure needs. In a related development, the IMF has maintained that despite the rebasing, government must look at reducing the debt stock. And the finance minister has also maintained that they are rather looking at how they can reduce the debt stock despite the expansion of the economy. Still on the fund, the IMF has appointed economist Dr. Albert Tumamama as a new resident representative for Ghana. Mr. Mama is taking over from Dr. Natalia Koladina, who brought her service, a 2-year service, to an end last month. There is more in this report.
Until this appointment, Dr. Tuana Mama worked at the African Department of the International Monetary Fund in Washington, D.C. Joy Business understands he was even part of the IMF mission team that visited the country recently to review Ghana's program with the fund. Before joining the IMF, Dr. Tuana Mama also worked with the International Department Bank of Canada in Ottawa. He was also a senior lecturer at the School of Economics at the University of Cape Town since 2009. For many, his immediate task would be supervising the completion of Ghana's program with the IMF by ensuring that Ghana meets all the required benchmarks before April 2019. The new country representative to Ghana holds a PhD from the University of Montreal. He also holds a diploma and a master in economics from the University of Bordeaux, Montesquieu, France.
And that was a Business Desk report. Now, the Bank of Ghana is building an internal capacity to manage crises that may arise from ongoing reforms of the financial sector. This is part of measures put in place by the bank to ensure that confidence is restored. Advisor to the governor, that is Dr. Ben Amwa, has given the firm assurance to players in the financial sector. Speaking at the second day of the Ghana Finance Week in Accra, Dr. Amwa said these reforms, when successful, ensure that the banking sector is strong to support private sector growth.
Internally, the bank is strengthening the crisis management framework to help contain, manage, and resolve banking sector crises promptly. Additionally, implementation of the Deposit Protection Scheme established under the Ghana Protection Act 2016, Act 931 as amended, is ongoing. When fully implemented, it will provide a safety net for vulnerable depositors in an event of a bank failure. These are some of the reforms we have implemented to create a safe and sound banking system.
Dr. Ben Amwa is an advisor to the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. So when are things going to normalize in terms of total peace in the banking sector? That's the question we pose to the president of the Ghana Association of Bankers, Alhassan Andani.
Look, I think first of all, let's also define peace of mind. Peace of mind doesn't mean an error when there is no correction. So at the moment, most people observing and actually beneficiaries of the financial services sector must have peace of mind in the sense that whatever we felt were not done right, corrected. So there should be peace of mind in terms of rigor. But in terms of the customer confidence coming back into the sector, on the trust coming back into the sector, and people getting back to the business of actually intermediating financial resources, yes, I'm sure by first quarter next year, we should see a bit of quiet.
So by first quarter next year, things should normalize. That's coming from the president of the Ghana Association of Bankers, Alhassan Andani. Granting loans to customers is a fragile venture that needs intelligent financial technology to deal with non-payment and defaulters. Now that's coming from the managing director of Finance House AFB Ghana, and originator of the Quick Loan, Arnold Parker. He's been sharing his thoughts on the best way banks can help reduce the rise or high non-performing loans in the wake of challenges in the banking sector.
There are varied reasons why a lot of loans are performing, but a clear indication really is the fact that financial service has changed drastically, and we have to really move from branch-based banking to a lot more understanding. What we also need to do is a lot more analytics, big data. We need to be able to understand the customers better. We need to be able to have a lot more data sets on how to analyze these customers and be able to take decisions which are less risky, and with that I believe that we should be able then to reduce the NPLs. Of course, save for nudging governments to also pay all contractors so that the banks are relieved. But then at the retail side, the sector is going to work more on data analytics to be able to reduce NPLs.
And that was the managing director of Finance House AFB Ghana, Arnold Parker, originators of the MTN Quick Loan. He spoke to Joy Business on the sidelines of an event by the Finance House to mark their 1 millionth customer. And let's do some news on the stock market. MTN continues to bring us some good news today. It was up by 6 pesos to close at 93 pesos. Guelo was also up by 9 pesos and is now worth 2 Ghana cedis and 95 pesos. And Kwekwa Doboli Emifa is being asked to go home on still on bail. He was at the immigration center. Now, and the judge has ruled that, as in go back to his house in UK whilst the case is still pending, understand me. So good news for him over there. Back to you, Evans. Emifa.
Thank you very much, George. Let's take some of your comments that you've sent in. This one says monthly, daily, weekly maintenance and the imminent collapse was not detected. That's the question. And this one from Sewodo Toklo says, hi Evans, why is it that whenever NPP does anything wrong, their only justification is to compare it with the wrongs of Mahama government? In other words, they want to tell us they can't do anything different. That's the message there. And this one also from John. He says, is Abu Jinapol listening to himself? If NDC officials traveled with huge delegations in the past, does it mean NPP should do same? Are we serious as a country? Are we moving forwards or backwards? God save Ghana. Aram from Oyibi says, when will the Ghanaian politician learn to address issues without reference to the previous administration? Why then do we change them? And this one also says, electricity tariffs decreased by 30% for commercial users, but has that resulted in the decrease in prices of goods and services offered by these companies? Some of your messages that you sent in.
She's only 4 years old and is kindergarten 2. She has been left with whip marks after receiving harsh lashes from her teacher because she had help from her brother to do her homework. The girl's father, Emmanuel Jakum, who was incensed by the whip marks on her daughter's skin, said he went to the school to inquire what happened. But guess what? The unrepentant teacher told him to report the case to whoever he wishes to. He has been speaking to my colleague, Jojo Kobana.
The Webbs left the 4-year-old, whose name I choose not to mention, in tears. Her tears dried, but marks of the Webbs remained hours after she was lashed. The marks could be seen on her long arms and back. The girl's father, Emmanuel Jakum, is upset.
This is not the first time. How
many times?
I think this has happened at 3-4 occasions. And today when I saw the girl, in fact, I wasn't happy at all. I wasn't happy. So I asked the girl who beat her, and she mentions Uncle Ralph, that's the teacher. And I went to the school, and the teacher exchanged words with me.
What did the teacher say?
He says because she doesn't do her homework, or the homework that she do wasn't her handwriting. That's the brother do the homework for her, and she asked the little girl. The girl too says, my brother did it for me. And your brother did it for you, you have to beat the girl to this level. She said, wherever I like to take her to, I have to. That's why I came here. In fact, I didn't control my temper. In fact, I didn't control it because it has been happening. Me, when it happens like that, my wife calls me, I should come and look at the girl. But in fact, you know women, the way they talk, I don't give her my. But today, I saw it myself, and I was like, hey, Teacher Nabu say, can you imagine this? Can you imagine this?
He wants the Ghana Education Service to act soon.
They have to stop beating the children in school because this girl is just a little girl. 4 years doesn't know anything. When you give her my first copybook to write, they can't even write. You have to hold her hand. So it's a gradual process. And you cannot tell me that because the brother do the homework for her, you beat her up to this level. That teacher have to be changed from that classroom.
Meanwhile, authorities at New Page School in Kokomlemle have failed to state their side of the story. They, however, sent a text message to Mr. Ajekum to apologize to him. The Ghana Education Service has banned corporal punishment, but unfortunately, it still happens. Georgia Kobna, Joy News.
Rather sad situation there. Of course, we'll try and get some answers from the school authorities. We're told they were supposed to react, but we're yet to hear from them. But yesterday, we told you about the plight of a 17-year-old girl who is a victim of alleged sexual assault at Obuasi Senior High Technical School. Now, in the second part of the story, she reviews an official of the Ghana Education Service coached her to deny that the teacher forcibly had sex with her.
Well, 46-year-old Seth Amponsa is being investigated by the GES after he denied the act. Some aggrieved teachers there say romantic relationships between teachers and students in the school exposes the children to HIV/AIDS because a teacher, guess what, died of that same disease 2 years ago. Here's Head of Joy News Investigations, Manasseh Zuriawuni.
The muya saw the mattress now have it to a form and a time like I say at that moment now I say
46-year-old Seth Amponsa has admitted the girl swept his office and studied there at night. He also admitted buying food from town for the girl and intervening when a senior seized her phone, but he denies sexually assaulting her. Some teachers of the school, however, say sexual relationship between teachers and students of the school has become a ritual. Joy News has cited a petition written by a group of teachers calling itself Concerned and Patriotic Teachers of Obuasi Senior High Technical School. The petition, which was written in July and addressed to the municipal chief executive, alleged that the school authorities wanted to shield Mr. Amponsa and called for the intervention of the MC. The victim of the alleged sex assault has told Joy News an officer from the GES, David Baba Afubi, invited her into a meeting and told her not to cooperate with investigative bodies.
They asked
about the case and I narrated it to them. The complex JHS head asked what I wanted done about the case. I said I wanted the teacher punished because I was not the only victim. Mr. Mambo rebuked me, saying mine was the only that was out and I had no evidence of the rest. The GES officer told me if anybody asks about the case, I should say I just didn't like the teacher. That's why I accused him of sexually abusing me. He said that will kill the case and my education will not be affected.
The head teacher of Complex Junior High School in Obuasi, Aaron Boafo, and the senior housemaster of Obuasi Sectec, Yakubu Mambo, were present at this meeting. They confirmed the meeting was held in Mr. Mambo's house, but denied the GS official tried to scuttle the investigation. Aaron Boafo said Mr. Afubi advised the girl not to cooperate with outsiders such as the media and not the GES officials. The MP for Obuasi East, Dr. Patrick Boachi Yadom, who is an old student of Obuasi Sectec, says the sex scandal which has become public is a tip of the iceberg.
There's widespread rumor on campus that not one male tutor, not two male tutors. I think what I heard was about more than 20 male tutors on campus who are alleged to be indulging in these immoral acts with the female students. And I felt this should not be allowed to happen on campuses of our second cycle institutions. These are young students, young females, they are vulnerable, and you can't use exam threat will help you to pass and woo these young vulnerable girls into these acts.
According to the teachers who petitioned the MCE, when a male teacher of the school died of HIV/AIDS complications 2 years ago, there was panic in the school because teachers often passed the girls around. They want the GES and stakeholders of the school to take a decisive action to end all forms of sexual relationship between girls and teachers of the school.
So you heard there Manasseh Azoria Winnie. Let's speak quickly to the MP of the area, who is also an old student of the Obuasi Senior High Technical School, Dr. Patrick Yadom. Thank you very much for your time here on NewsNite. This is a school you're proud to be an old student of, and you're hearing that girls are being passed around by their teachers. They are engaging in moral acts. What's your reaction?
Thank you, my sister, and my greetings to your viewers and your listeners. This report came to me one evening, and I drove that same night to the school to do my own checks. But I interviewed about 3 student leaders on campus who confirmed rumors like that, and sometimes they see female students coming from the master's bungalow early in the morning. And a whole lot. So I said, no, this must be reported to the authorities. So I first informed the PTA chairman, who was not in the know. I informed the municipal director of education, who also said he was not aware of anything like that. Then I informed the BNI officer, who also denied any knowledge of such things in the school. So I asked these officers to follow up on the case, and then we get to a logical conclusion of this whole issue. What happened was that school authority or school management sat on the case, interviewed the gentleman in question, and then the lady, the student, the female student involved. And in fact, for several weeks after the investigation, when some concerned tutors wanted to hear the outcome of the investigation, there was no information. There was no official communication from the school management to the rest of the teaching staff or to the school community. So, this raised eyebrows. And I decided to take the matter up.
So you took it up. What did you find? What did the school authorities tell you about this incident?
In fact, the school authorities said they have interviewed both the teacher involved and then the student involved, and that they are preparing their report, and they will forward the report to the region. That is what pertains with GES. Issues of this nature, you cannot deal with it conclusively in the school. It has to be dealt with at the higher level. So they need to report whatever findings that they have to the regional GES for them to take the matter up. So as I speak, the Regional Disciplinary Committee has met on 2 occasions on this issue, and I'm sure they have concluded the issue or the investigation, and we are all waiting for the outcome
of that investigation.
Of the investigation.
Okay. Of course, Manasseh Azuria Winnie will be following that so we get to the bottom of this matter. You heard there the MP for the area, Dr. Patrick Yadom. You recall that there was a similar incident also at the Jusuman Senior High School, and it is imagined that the teachers that were interdicted or transferred are still, some of them, 2 of them, are still on campus as we speak, and their presence is intimidating these girls who were once their victims. It's time now for sports, and Hans Mensa Ando is in the studios.
Right, don't ask me. just don't ask me about Jose Mourinho. Now, it was supposed to be a double header between the Black Stars of Ghana and the Lone Stars of Sierra Leone, but of course, that game got cancelled because of the suspension hanging around the neck of the Sierra Leoneans, and we now have confirmation that the Black Stars will be playing against Kumasi Asante Kotoko tomorrow at 4 p.m. Veteran Ghanaian coach Jay Sapon believes that friendly game between the Black Stars and Kotoko is irrelevant. The senior national team will play Kotoko tomorrow at the Barbara Sports Stadium following CAF's decision to cancel their AFCON qualifier with Sierra Leone. Coach Sapon thinks the friendly is not necessary since the players were not released by their clubs for the that particular assignment. That's the game involving Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
I would say that the friendly match is not very necessary at this point in time, except for any other reason. But once the match is off, I strongly believe the players must go back to their base and then prepare for their matches over there. Those who have something to do in town can do it and quickly go back, because they didn't ask permission to come and play friendly matches here. They were to come in for a competition. So if you go back and then you get injured and get back there, your team is going to sanction you. Now, even some of them may lose their contract. It's a very dicey situation. But I hear the players want to play and entertain the Kumasi fans. Fine, but at risk, because it's a contact game, and then you may collide with somebody and get injured in the process, because once it's a contact game, you consider that it's avoidable, So for me, I stand for the cancellation of that match for them to move away to their bases.
That's veteran coach J.E. Sapon. That's your sports. My name is Hans Mensando.
Thank you very
still
much.
listening to NewsNite here on Joy 99.7 FM.
So it's time for us to do some, is it beef? Let's beef.
Yes. What beef? Is it Tolo Beefy? It's what you may describe as a lyrical fight. Dancehall artist, well, by the way, that's the definition, not Tolo Beefy. It's a lyrical fight. Dancehall artist Shatawale seems to have ruffled a lot of feathers after describing some colleague artists as poor. Which side are you on?
None.
Yeah, too safe. Well, hip live icon Sarkodie and the one-time musician of the year called Kessie were at the receiving end of the self-acclaimed dancehall king's invectives.
Which side are you on?
Sarkodie. But there's now a club.
Of course, why did I have to ask?
Oh yeah, money no be problem. But there's now a club back as Sarkodie releases a diss song titled "My Advice," obviously to tell Shatta off. Now features editor Fifi Kumsing has more.
Yeah. Yeah, me on this beat, it go cause you some damages. Last year I went through some
history.
I'm talking about the problem that is in the industry that we know is a problem.
It all started from here, played by Shatta on our sister station Love FM in Kumasi, that Kwao and Sark were penniless.
Because when people know that one of Kwakese is very poor, Sakode is poor.
But for Stonebwoy, his condition was deemed a little better.
Somebody's on my labels who at least, we get some cash for this, we get some bands,
After a few reactions on social media to the claims, Shatta released a video footage in which he displayed his fleet of luxury cars, his mansion, and wife.
So I got a pool right here. I got a pool like a poolside in the bar, man. Nigga, what you talking about? You got? Show me what you got, my nigga. Show me what you got.
It's only poor people who show what they have because they never got anything in life.
But the clap back is strong. It started with Kwakese.
But don't talk about dancehall when you are doing Palogo music.
And now,
poverty. If being poor be like me, then Father, I beg you just bless me with poverty.
So far, the best and most well-rehearsed response yet coming from Sark. And it's all directed at the dancehall king.
Touching on a few things, Jai illumination, I catch a cube links. Paul, I want man time, the film in for Frono. I call out with the Yatra, we need Tony, I want Papa, we wait for some betono. Who shake one is something that Totono, brand will be strong enough. If you be strong, keep quiet, you go soon come up, stay mute. 1 year, say full support, you show take. One day, you go show, but that's the last thing we are.
But what a lot of the fans of these artists may not know is that it may all be a well-planned move by the actors to stay on top.
Until I die, I go for my time. I'm changing industry, no daddy, please. And yes, I'm a store, no go rest in peace.
Rest in peace, my soul.
I hear Shatta Wale has responded. Your former bellboy in school.
Oh yeah, my shalom mate. Yes.
He's responded, we are told.
He has.
Yeah, we'll definitely bring it. I'm sure
okay.
we'll bring that on Ghana.
You know, Shatta, you see, because the Shona is where we grew up, so when he responds, it's the Shona thing song. He doesn't do this lyrical, poetic, and it's just good and Shona way.
You've simply taken
straight up.
sides. You've simply taken sides.
Oh, then Shona don't be bad though. That's it for NewsNite tonight.
I am MFAPO, and there's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Personality profile with Lexis Bill up next.